Hey everyone, Pugs here with two new reviews for y'all. Today I'm covering Pineapple Fever and Chum Caverns. My first thought in my attempt to connect these two episodes in some way was that both of these episodes feature damp, dank places. That doesn't really sound all that appealing, does it? Well, maybe the episodes will be more appealing than their locations. I guess we'll just have to see. As always, I gotta say thank you to everyone watching today. Can't believe how close we are to finishing season 6. Now, let's just get right into it. I've been waiting for this one. Pineapple Fever is another one of those episodes that has such a rich, liminal environment that I adore. I also find this episode to be extremely underrated, which is always nice. If you couldn't tell, that was sarcasm. Just want everyone to be on the same page here that I am not a fan of this episode being underrated, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to convert some people to the right side of history today. And before anyone says it, I know, we're all entitled to our own opinions and all that jazz and sunshine and rainbows. Pineapple Fever opens with a gorgeous background, an instant win for me. However, what is not an instant win is that we get that damn SpongeBob design that I can't stand with those rounded cheeks and small mouth, and this is accompanied by him just walking very weirdly. Like, I can't even describe it, it's just off. Just, why is this a thing? Why do we keep doing this? Whatever, I can move on from that, and so move on I shall. Let me talk about the plot. I like it. SpongeBob and Patrick hunker down at SpongeBob's place to weather out a storm. Seems simple enough. Squidward also gets involved in this episode as well because we of course cannot exclude him, and his first scene involves him ripping out an eyebrow. I feel compelled to say that, like the toenail scene from House Fancy, this moment doesn't bother me at all. Once Squidward goes over to SpongeBob's place, the part where SpongeBob is listing things they can do goes on for too long, but it's not all that egregious compared to some of the other attempted gags that I've been subjected to in the course of this season, so I can very nearly give it a pass here. Patrick's investment in the hot cocoa was pretty funny though, and it helped this part a lot. It kinda makes me want, hot chocolate now. Despite the fact that it has been just winter for all these months, I didn't have any hot chocolate, even though I own some. I just didn't want to dirty those dishes. Anyway, I love how Squidward is forced back to SpongeBob's house immediately, like he can't even leave even though he lives right next door. I also like how he ends up wearing the slippers too. Honestly, I'm concerned about the infrastructure of SpongeBob's house given all that water that has gotten inside of it. The idea of being in that house is also not that appealing, because being in a wet house during a storm would first off be kinda gross to me, but also I feel like my anxiety would be through the roof if I was in a house that was actively leaking. Not even I feel like, I know I would be, because when my previous apartment had a leak, you bet your ass that had me worried for weeks. Alright, that was a tangent. Let me bring it back. So, in general, this episode is very much a gag-heavy one, considering that we spend pretty much the entire time at SpongeBob's house, and there's not much of a plot to speak of. The gags here are largely pretty good, I'd say. Like, I liked the bit with the rock, paper, scissors, it had good comedic timing with SpongeBob's part of it. Admittedly, the jigsaw puzzle part wasn't that great, but I wouldn't call it unenjoyable either, so it's fine. Squidward completely losing it during the scene makes it better. And then once Squidward sets up the boundaries game, you just know that this is going to backfire on him. The part where he eats snail food is pretty funny, not to mention it leads to an appearance of my favorite little guy, so that's a win for me. And then when Squidward tries to sneak out and get some snacks, we see SpongeBob strictly enforcing the boundaries Squidward had made, and this is how Squidward's plan backfires on him. This reminds me a lot of The Paper, or even Choir Boys a little bit. From here, we devolve into chaos, and y'all know I love me some chaos. Everyone starts fighting over the food, which brings to mind ugh. I do think that the change to this, virality is a bit abrupt and could have been done more gradually, like in To Save a Squirrel. Like, maybe if we'd cut the gag with SpongeBob listing stuff, but whatever. The way it is now isn't too bad anyhow. And then the ending of the episode, Squidward mistakenly falling out of SpongeBob's house, is great, and it's always the part of this episode that I remember. When I was a kid, I could never understand what Squidward said at the end, or, like, I could. Like, I knew he said, curse you, perflumster, however the fuck you say that word. Anyway, but I didn't know what the heck a perflumster was. I thought maybe it was some kind of weird name for a tornado. Turns out it's actually the name of the weatherman from the beginning of the episode, so that's neat. Pineapple Fever is simply a fun and enjoyable episode. Yeah, it's got some iffy moments, like with the listing bit, but there aren't a lot of these moments. And when the episode is on, it's on, so I'm happy with that. I also don't think that this episode is anything close to boring, as it's constantly engaging for me. I'll say that it has one general missed opportunity in terms of actually developing the devolution of the main characters here, but other than that, I like everything I see in this one. A good fit for my amazing tier, where it comes in with a score of 9 out of 10. For our penultimate episode of this season, we've got Chum Caverns, which, in my opinion, is unremarkable. Yeah, I said it. I only remember this episode because of the location, as it makes the episode stand out a bit, but other than that, I've got nothing for you. Well, I of course have stuff to discuss now, since this is one of my reviews after all, but y'all get what I mean. Chum Caverns begins with Mr. Krabs being far pushier than usual about getting money from his customers, which makes me question if this episode was going to be about him having some kind of reason for this, but nope, that's not the direction we're going in. I mean, I don't care if there's a reason for this or not, but usually Mr. Krabs is only pushy like this to his employees, so it stood out to me. And it doesn't matter much anyway, because the episode quickly turns over to Plankton's side of things, where he wants to dig under the Krusty Krab to steal the formula. Lots of Plankton episodes in this last fourth of season 6, it seems. As Plankton enters the cave, I'm struck by how lifeless this cave is. Like, compare the surroundings of this episode to the surroundings featured in an episode like Mustard O' Mine, especially during the part of that episode when Patrick is mining gemstones. Like, that was certainly a beautiful cave. This cave, not so much. It felt like it was missing something, and so I didn't fully buy into the whole, this is the most beautiful place ever, let's all eat down here thing. And I know I'm supposed to suspend my disbelief, but this kind of took me out of the episode. Also, personally, I would never eat underground, but that's just me, I think. Along with the cave are the cave dwellers, who are also similarly bland, and they could have been removed from the episode entirely, and nothing would really change. I feel like every time we get a Chum Bucket Business Practices episode, because that's what this episode is, I can't help but notice how ridiculously foolish Bikini Bottomites are. Like, y'all are eating this horribly inedible food just because the decoration is amazing, or just because the advertising is good? Y'all are not very reasonable with your money, that's all I can say. And yeah, I imagine that this is the point. It's the point of Chum is Fun, or, sorry, Chum Bucket Supreme, I think. Not so sure if this episode is meant to give any kind of message about atmosphere masking horrible products, though. I'm yet again reminded of Arcane. Heyo! When SpongeBob and Patrick appear in the Chum Caverns, I've got many questions. I think Patrick is unnecessary here, to be honest. Now, SpongeBob is too, but his appearance is more forgivable in my opinion. This is a Chum Bucket Business Practices episode, after all. I think it's kind of cute that, unlike Mr. Krabs, SpongeBob has no real ill will towards Plankton unless he's actively harming the Krusty Krab, so he doesn't mind supporting Plankton in his business. Chum Cavern starts moving towards that chaos that I enjoy when Mr. Krabs barges in to get his customers back. Plankton and Mr. Krabs get into an all-out digging battle, continually digging under each other, and this is fun to watch, even as it only makes a little bit of scientific sense. And then the two get trapped in a small little cave, and I like how it takes them 15 minutes to call a truce. The ending of this episode is great too, where everyone ends up trapped inside of the Krusty Krab. I also think that the very ending gag is abrupt, but in a good way. In terms of humor, this episode is not very funny, but it has its moments, such as when Plankton ends up getting crushed by all the money, that was good. All the quips from Mr. Krabs about not paying SpongeBob are pretty funny too, and this episode is also just very enjoyable. Like, it never bores me or anything, which is always a good thing. And what a fitting word that is, because this episode is being placed in my good tier, where it comes in with a score of 7.8 out of 10. As always, I'll be ending this video with some closing thoughts of mine. I mean, frankly, I don't have very much to say. These two episodes are good, but there's not a whole lot of substance to them. Pineapple Fever reminds me of every other plot with people devolving to frugality that has ever happened, so I guess today it reminds me of Yellow Jackets, since that's a show that I watch. And for Chum Caverns, maybe it's because of me being tired in the real world, but I've got nothing to add here. I barely even changed the script from the written review, that's how little I have to say. It's weird to think that I'm so close to finishing season 6. Feels like we've been on this one for a while, and I know that's because I've had to take like 100 breaks while reviewing this season. But hey, we got here. Or, I guess after I review next episode, we'll have gotten there. So, I guess I should leave all of those season kind of closing thoughts for the next review or the season 6 overview, right? Well, if I do that, then I've got nothing else for y'all, meaning that I'll close things out now and I'll see y'all in the next review.